Can you believe we've already made it to week 5? So for module 5, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to look at cultural diversity and how that actually can make a huge difference when it comes to sustainability. I love how your readings start talking about how you talk to a friend and you can get some better perspectives on things, because it really kind of goes into group projects, which I love. I know you guys hate them. But whenever I see a real group work together on a group project, I love seeing all the different perspectives and how they make that something better. We get stuck on what we think of, and we kind of think that's the only way to do things. We start looking at thinking beyond the bin, for instance, recycling bin. In the United States, you may or may not in your town have recycling, where you sort plastic, paper, cans, bottles, whatever it may be. And then we send them all off and we hope that they're recycled. And we look at different perspectives. For instance, in Japan, where they actually try to make sure that they really recycle and they don't contaminate, and they make sure everything goes into different categories. And as a result of that mindset of staying clean, they use less. Your book sort of mentions in Germany the fan system placing a deposit on bottles and cans, but I live in New York and we have the deposit system on bottles and cans, and we've had it for a very long time. We pay 5 cents to get a bottle or a can. We get 5 cents back when we bring it back. And as a result, we recycle a lot more. Maybe they do that in your state. Maybe they don't. But there's also ideas of upcycling, about using those things for something else and how much that can make a difference rather than downcycling and turning it into waste. Which system's best? Not necessarily any of them, or maybe all of them. I don't really know. But the answer is, what really matters is what works for you. And maybe there's a better solution we haven't even thought of yet. So when we start looking at perspectives, we need to start looking at how all of these things work together and what they all mean as far as sustainability. We also need to take a look at what you do every day and how that connects to sustainability. I like the idea of the journey of your lunch. Think of food waste. The parents in the room know that you don't want someone to waste food, right? But it means a whole lot more. When you start talking about food waste, you don't want to spend money on food just to throw it away. You want to spend money on food and eat it. And also think in terms of all of that waste that somebody else in need could have used. So when we start thinking about it, let's figure out a better way to do things. Composting is great. Make sure that that waste turns into soil so that we can actually have soil in the future. Or you can do what I'm not always that good at, which is planning meals to make sure that you're just making enough food for you. I'm bad at it and I always cook for more people. But what I do is I freeze what I've got left and I send it off to my mom because my mom needs extra food at her house. So I package it up for her. But this is where we're actually looking at different ways to do the same thing, making sure that your waste is actually kept. We also need to look at renewable energy. Think about all the things you've got plugged in around your house and think about how much that's wasting. One great thing is to use alternative energy like solar or wind, the solar panels I've got on my roof. Another idea is just unplug stuff. There's something called vampire power, and you need to focus on that. Just Google it. You'll be excited that you did. When we start looking at sustainability, we realize this improves fairness, it affects equality, and the more we actually work on this, the better off we can be. So what can you do to start fixing these things? We also need to look at unfair social systems. We need to look at the community health that we have. Right now, a lot of low-income neighborhoods are stuck in areas that have a lot of pollution. How can we make sure that they get clean air and clean water as well? How can we make sure that we're investing in public transit so that people can actually go into those environments? And how do we make sure that these sustainable solutions help for everybody? Things like rainwater harvesting, things like building in green communities so that those trees will take up some of that soil or some of that pollution. So when we look at social justice, we're trying to solve those problems by helping find solutions for everybody. And when we look at diversity, why is diversity so important? More people, more ideas. Right now, we're working with the ideas that we have. If we got more people involved, we could get so many more ideas out there and hopefully find better solutions for the future. Now, this week, we're going to have No discussion board, but you're going to work on that 5.2 project. And again, please, please, please look at all the notes that I gave on your 3.2 assignment and rewatch that video if you need another guide on how to finish that project. I hope you enjoy.